Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sincerely Self Podcast. My name is Lexi. Welcome if you're new. It's been a minute, you guys. I haven't recorded a solo episode in so long, it feels like. I kind of want to start moving those back to, I don't know. I've really considered, and I want your guys' opinion on it. I've really considered moving guests to being like more sporadic than every other week. I love all the guests we're having, absolutely. But I also love having a little sit down, just us. Having a little sit down where, I don't know, I feel like I just love a good solo episode too, you know what I mean? And that's where we started out. So let me know your thoughts. I would not be able to do this until fall because, fun fact, we already have guests booked out into the summertime for episodes that will be released up until September. So it would not be until that point, but let me know what you guys think. I'm going back to how I was when I first started the podcast in the sense that I have no notes, nothing. Well, I have my notebook here. And if you've been watching the YouTube video for the last few episodes, solo episodes, which if you're not watching the YouTube, what are you doing? Actually, what are you doing? I'm someone who loves to put like story times on and things like that while I'm getting ready. The YouTube videos are perfect, you guys. I promise you. So go check those out first off. But anyways, I have been using a notebook, using some notes to kind of keep me focused so I don't go off my train of thought as often. But this week, I really just want to speak from the heart, speak from the soul, speak from God, speak from God's influence. And the topic we're talking about today is we're going to dive into Michael Jackson's manifestation method. Yes, you heard me right. If you have watched the movie, I went and watched the movie with my fiance and my in-laws, and beautiful, amazing movie. I loved it. I love Michael Jackson. I've always been pretty fascinated with his mindset and just everything that he was about, all of his teachings, everything that he stood for, everything he was very proactive in making awareness for and what he spent his time on. And I feel like the movie did such a beautiful job at encapsulating that and showing really how aware and awake he was. So, for example, Michael did affirmations in the mirror. He would repeat them to himself. There's a few clips where you see him repeating to himself, I am the greatest of all time. I am loved. I'm adored. I'm amazing at what I do. He's just repeating these affirmations to himself. And then he starts recording. And there's also many clips, and I have seen pictures from his real life mirror where he had sticky notes with affirmations on them. That really stuck to me because when I started my spiritual journey, I did not know that Michael Jackson did this, but I would write affirmations on sticky notes too. And I would just put them on my wall above my desk and just affirmations for the week. And I would repeat them to myself anytime I sat down. But the mirror is so much more powerful. And I've talked about this method before, but reading something out loud already, saying anything, the power of words is insane. Like what you say is what your subconscious clings to, and that is what is writing out the thoughts in your mind. If you're more curious on that, I have an episode on the neuroscience behind manifestation. So I will link that below if you want to go check that out. But it's also talked about in the Bible, the power of the tongue. It literally creates the reality that we have, the experiences that we have, the way that we view the world, the things that we attract into our life based off of our self-perception. And Michael Jackson was very aware of this, clearly. And when you are repeating affirmations in the mirror to yourself, you are not only using a manifestation method by just saying this out loud to yourself, but watching yourself say this is so powerful. I can't remember the exact research behind it, but watching yourself, like your brain is going to cling to that. You know what I mean? And it just builds confidence. Like you may feel silly at first, but hearing it from yourself It really does trick your brain into believing it. You can trick your brain into being confident and being secure in yourself. And that doesn't mean you won't ever have low times, but these little manifestation methods, you guys know I love a good affirmation. And I've honestly fallen out from it so much. Like after I watched the movie, I realized I don't do affirmations anymore. I used to write out 10 to 12 affirmations every single night. I would have like the same ones for a month and I would write them out every single night. And honestly, my mental state when I was doing that, I was so secure in myself, genuinely. So I have seen the benefits of doing it repeatedly. And it really does just improve the way that you feel about yourself. And I think being able to stick to a routine like that, it proves even more to yourself that you are worthy. Jafar Jackson did an interview. I'm not sure exactly which one it was. I did see it on TikTok, but it was in promotion for the movie. And he was mentioning how he got all of Michael's like writing and journals and stuff, and was looking through it in preparation for the movie. And he really got into Michael's brain, from these notes and how spiritual he was. Michael would meditate for 30 minutes every single day. He would do affirmations multiple times a day, every single day. And the highest frequency that you can be at is gratitude and also the power of giving. Like the energy, the karmic energy that brings in, being so giving. And I talk about energy and then I also talk about the Bible because I think I believe spirituality and God go hand in hand. And that is my belief. I think, okay, I'm not going to dive into this actually on this episode is what I think. But in the Bible, it talks a lot about, I can't remember which book it's in, but there is a chapter that talks about giving. And if you are rich, why are you rich? Like that's pretty much how Jesus is phrasing it. Like if you have all this money, genuinely, why do you have this much money? Because Jesus says we should not be chasing wealth. We should not be chasing, worldly things. Like we should be using what we have to help other people. And Michael Jackson, I feel like, is such a true testament to that. It touches on it a bit in the movie about him, when he got burned, he donated everything he got from the settlement, which was a lot. And he opened up a burn center or donated it to a burn center for children. After that had happened, he went to children's hospitals countless times. He met a child at a hospital. I can't remember which country it was in, but the child was in kidney failure and he scoured the world with his team to find the child a kidney, and he did. He even said himself that he feels like his purpose here on earth is to help people. That's what he felt. He felt like his purpose here on earth was to use his light and to be a light and to help people. And I feel like that is all of our purposes. I think wealth and abundance in the physical form comes after you have spiritual abundance and an abundance mindset, in the sense of you're not worrying about money coming and going. You're not worrying about what time you have to get up. You're not worrying about your job. You're not worrying about these things that at the end of the day don't matter. We are programmed to believe that these things are life or death and the definition of a happy life. If you don't have all this money, then you're not happy. But really, I think the higher your frequency, the higher you are vibrating at energetically, will be based off of how you feel about yourself, how you treat other people, the service that you do to other people, genuinely for the sake of wanting to take care of other people, wanting to be there for the less fortunate, and seeing that God has put you here to help people. I genuinely believe we all have a purpose here, and they're all different. We all have different desires that we've had since we were younger, different talents that we've had since we were younger. Michael Jackson's was performing, right? Singing, dancing, performing, and his personality. I think we all have talents here, whether it be, maybe working in a hospital, helping people, maybe speaking, maybe music. There's so many different ways that we can heal the world. And peace is what would heal the world. Peace. Like, there's so much anger everywhere right now, especially right now. Everywhere in the world, so much anger, so much resentment, so much finding sides, so much not wanting to associate with people just based off of what they believe and what they think. And though I do talk so much about, protecting your peace, protecting your energy, I do believe, you don't want to have people in your circle that you don't trust, or telling your deepest, darkest secrets to maybe people that you wouldn't want to be like, or taking judgment from people you wouldn't want to be like. That I still stand 10 toes on that. But I don't say that in a way for anyone to justify treating people bad or wishing death or misfortune upon someone just because they have different views than you. And I say that in the sense of someone could have, and a lot of people are not going to like what I'm about to say, but hear me out. When you can find love in your heart for somebody who is a horrible person, like bad person. I've heard a few stories of people who have forgiven somebody who has caused harm on somebody that they love, or taken the life of somebody that they love, and they have found forgiveness in their heart. And I have an episode on forgiveness and what it does for the soul. But when you can not just say, oh, they're fine. You can say, this is in God's hands, not mine. This judgment is not mine to do at the end of the day. This anger and this resentment that I'm holding towards this person or this group or these people that believe this certain thing, I'm not telling you that you have to think what they're thinking is right. Not at all. You do not have to agree with somebody. I think when we can all prioritize the health and safety of every living human and standing up for every living person, no matter their race, no matter their gender, no matter where they're from, no matter their political beliefs, no matter their religion, no matter their lack of religion. When the world can all come together, all different, everything, just for the sake of being human, the world would heal. I think there's so many things built into our society that is made to keep us from figuring this out. And Michael Jackson talks a lot about that. And there's a few celebrities that talk a lot about that. Only a few that talk a lot about how we're stuck in this matrix. I have an episode with Wei Hong, and my episode with Wei, we talked so much about escaping the matrix. So that episode will be linked down below as well. But I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but I really just feel so aligned with this conversation. So we're going to keep it going. But it can feel overwhelming at times with the state of the world and everything going on. And it can feel like, what can I do? Like, we see these videos and these posts and these news outlets, and we see everything going on. And it's like, what can I do? It feels like our hands are tied and we're stuck going to work every day, stuck in having to keep going. Like, you can't stop no matter how bad it's getting. And the more in tune with your highest self, with God, with universe, whatever you want to call it, you can become. And that means turning inward, these affirmations, meditation, journaling, learning about yourself, believing in yourself, Michael Jackson believed in himself, and he believed in the world too. He believed that the world could get to peace. He tried so hard to do it. There's the story of the music video where the two gangs in LA had been involved in a shooting and Michael had seen something on it. So he invited both the gangs to the same place and united them in a dance. Because he genuinely did not, he was like, no, like, why are we going to have anger and hatred in our hearts? There is no reason for it, genuinely. And I think that's a mentality that we all should be having. I think there's so many evil energies running rampant in the world right now. The spiritual realm, the veil is thin, you guys. And there is no better time than now to start showing up as the change that you want to see in the world. Hold the door for somebody. Tell somebody you like their outfit. Smile at somebody you're walking past. Help somebody get groceries in their car. Donate to somebody's GoFundMe. We don't realize how the little things, if we all did a little thing a day for somebody else, it would be noticed. If every single person did something for a stranger, every day, some little thing, holding the door, giving a compliment, giving a smile, making a conversation. We have all frozen over of human connection, and that is the one thing that would make us powerful, is human connection, human understanding. So, the Michael Jackson manifestation method can bring you abundance, but it's going to start with teaching you who you are, the parts of yourself that you have not faced yet, that are maybe uncomfortable to start diving into, and the parts of yourself that are the ones that you glamorize the most. True abundance is when you view the world like Michael Jackson did. I'm telling you guys, you will find your purpose in this life, and it will align with helping other people in some way. You will find synchronicities that happen as you are led towards it. You will feel a pull to journal more. You will feel a pull to meditate, to pray, to connect with source, connect with your higher self. You will feel a pull. You will know that this is where you're supposed to be. Once people start telling you how much you're helping them, you will know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And that's when material abundance comes in. That's when physical abundance comes in. God says he will always provide. He says, do not worry about the food. Do not worry about tomorrow, for I will provide. God will provide for you as you fulfill your mission here on earth. I don't think our only purpose here is to serve other people. I think our other purpose is to love others as we would want to be loved, and show that love to ourselves more than anything. The journey to figure out who you are and the journey to becoming awoken to the realities that we are able to tap into, that is the journey. That is the journey. I genuinely believe that, you guys. I'm going to end the episode here. I love you guys so much. This was so much fun. Hey, I might not do notes anymore. I didn't know exactly how this conversation was going to go. I'm just saying that because I bet you guys are just responding back to me, okay? I did not expect this to take the turn that it did, and I love it. I love everything about this conversation. And the most beautiful and amazing part of it is you do not have to agree with me about everything, just in the same sense as I don't have to agree with you on everything. I think if you're tuning into Sincerely Self, you are so spiritually aware at this point that you're like, girl, I know, like, I already know that. But just a reminder, you guys, just a reminder, you're beautiful, you're loved, you serve a purpose in this life. I work with children for my day job. Hey, I have a day job. Hey. I don't know if you guys knew that. I have two. And I work with kids, and I love it. And I feel like it's one of my purposes in life. I've always felt very called to work with kids, and the podcast and coaching came to me a little later, and I feel drawn towards both. I feel like I'm able to serve in both, and I've loved being able to do both. But I was talking with a 6-year-old, and we kind of got on the topic of the way you talk about yourself. They were playing a game, and they were like, I'm the worst at this game, I'm horrible, I'm just the worst, I suck at everything. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Because I'm like, I know the power of your words, you know what I mean? But in the same sense, I talked about horribly about myself, probably at that age too. And it made me so sad. And I was just like, hey, girl, like, we don't talk to ourselves like that. And she was just like, why? And I paused and I was like, you know what? I've never really explained self-love to a kid. And I had no one explain it to me as a kid. But the way that I dived into it was, I told her, there is one of you. There is one person that has your interests, your tastes, your mindset, your desires, your quirks, your humor. There is one you. You're special. And you need to treat yourself like you're special. And she was just like, oh, I don't know. And then I phrased it in another way. And I said, use the example of like, I was like, would you say those things to your mom? And she was like, no. And I was like, yeah, because it's rude, right? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, why would you say it to yourself? And she just kind of paused, and I said, using mean words to ourselves will only make us feel worse. I told her it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to, be upset if something's not going your way and if things aren't showing up that the way that you want them to. But there is no need to talk down on yourself, especially because you wouldn't do it to somebody else. And we do it to ourselves. Ourselves take the beating so many times. And I said, show yourself the grace that you show other people, Say, I'm still learning, oh, that maybe that was a practice, the more I practice this, the better I'll get at it. And I could tell she was thinking about it a little bit more. And I think it's so important, especially for my moms who are on here. I hadn't really thought about having that kind of conversation with kids before. I mean, I definitely think it's talked about so much more in kids' shows, kids' books, everything. But I really would recommend just like having a conversation with your child on the power of the way that they talk about it. I think the earlier in life that you get introduced to the idea of self-love and just the importance of it, the more ahead you will be in coming up with coping strategies and going through emotional turmoil. At that, I am going to end this episode here. I am recording this at like 11 p.m. on Friday, you guys. It's been a busy week. It's been so busy. But I have been living in a lack mindset, honestly, with the podcast. It's been kind of hard. I feel like I've been in a little bit of a creative rut. And so I haven't been dedicating nearly as much time as I should be. So working on getting out of that, but just being transparent with you guys because that's what we do on here. However, I'm going to be locking in, okay? You have my word. So make sure you guys subscribe if you're watching the YouTube. If not, make sure you follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Prime, wherever you're listening to this episode. You also could leave 5 stars. That would mean the world to me to let me know that you enjoy this podcast. I love to see new people start listening. I love it. It is the coolest thing in the world to me, genuinely. And I'm proud of you for taking steps towards loving yourself. Because if you see Sincerely Self, like, yeah, you know it's a self-love podcast. And if you're tuning in, then I know you're on that journey. So I love you. I'm proud of you. I will have all my socials linked in the description below. But if you want to check them out, it's just Sincerely Self Podcast everywhere. Instagram and TikTok are where I'm most active. But yeah, you can find me really anywhere. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing first week of May. I'm recording this on the 1st of May, so wake up. It's the 1st of the month, but it's actually going to be the 2nd when you guys see this. So I hope May is so abundant and amazing for everyone. Spring is such an amazing time to start new journeys and new businesses and career paths and to start new things. Spring energetically is such an amazing time to start that. So make sure if you have any plans, this is the month to dive in. And I will see you with our guest